My dear, your silence spoke louder than any text your ex dared to send me first. I read their words like a wound you never wanted to show me. They whispered secrets I begged you to speak aloud in our quiet moments. Your truth arrived late, carried by a stranger's fingertips on a glowing screen. I found their confession before I found your courage to be honest. When they spoke first, I realized you had already left my heart behind. The distance between us grew wider in that message you never sent me. Their words burned because you never shielded me from the fire. You chose silence, and someone else chose to shatter my illusions. Love isn't waiting for texts. It's hearing the truth before it breaks you. Their message was the crack in our fragile foundation you refused to fix. I was a stranger in your story until their text made me an outsider. You let their words carry the weight your lips were too scared to hold. Your betrayal was written in a message I never thought I'd read. The first truth I heard wasn't from you, but from the ghost of us. I wanted your voice, but I got their echoes instead. Their confession was a key to the door you locked behind you. You sent silence. They sent the truth, and it shattered me. The hardest part wasn't their message, but the emptiness you left behind. Your ex texted me truths that should have been whisper in our bed. I loved you blind until their words ripped my eyes open. Your absence spoke volumes. Their message screamed everything you hid. Sometimes the heart listens to strangers because its own love went silent. They told me what you couldn't, what I deserved, before the silence. You left your truth in a text I wasn't supposed to read first. Their message was a mirror reflecting what you refused to face. You lost me the moment you let another's words reach me first. Your love was a secret kept between your silence and their confession. I craved your honesty, but I settled for a stranger's apology. Their words weren't just a text. They were the death of our trust. I carried the weight of their message, but you carried the guilt. When love dies, sometimes it's announced by someone else's phone. You forgot I was waiting for your truth, not their explanation. Their message healed wounds your silence had made bleed. I was the last to know, the last to fall, and the first to break. You left me hanging on words meant for someone else's ears first. Sometimes an ex's text teaches us what our lovers have dared to say. They spoke truths you buried beneath a mountain of quiet. Your silence was loudest when their text reached me in the night. I found myself between your lies and their painful honesty. The first text wasn't a hello, it was a goodbye you never sent. Their message was a lifeline you refused to throw me. The past whispered to me through a phone you refused to answer. I held the pieces they sent while you held only regrets. Their words were a wound, your silence the blade that cut deepest. When love fades, sometimes an ex texts what you left unsaid. Their confession painted our end with colors you feared to admit. I was waiting for your voice. I got their words instead. You sent silence. They sent a storm I wasn't ready for. Their message was a truth bomb. Your silence was the fuse. The hardest betrayal isn't in what they said, but in what you never said. You handed them the pen to write our last chapter before me. I loved you in the dark, but their message brought all the dawn. Your ex texted me what you couldn't face, speaking aloud. I was a stranger learning your truth through someone else's story. They told me your secrets because you lost your courage. I was waiting for the truth. I got their confession instead. Your silence was the loudest message between us all along. They sent me your past. You never sent me your present. The words they typed are the echoes of your unspoken pain. You left a message unspoken that someone else screamed to me. Their text was a scar on a love you never healed. I read your story through someone else's trembling hands. Your ex told me the story I deserved to hear from you. I was the last to know and the first to feel betrayed. You hid your truth behind silence. They revealed it without shame. Your ex texted me the version of you never showed. Their message was a ghost haunting the love you left behind. You left me a puzzle with missing pieces someone else sent first. I found the truth where I least wanted to look. Someone else's phone. Their confession was a wound I never asked to carry. You lost your voice. Their text became the scream in my silence. The hardest truth is always the one we hear secondhand. I wasn't ready to know your story from anyone but you. Your silence wrote the end. Their text signed it in blood. They told me your truth because you forgot how to love me. You left a message unsent, but they sent it loud and clear. I craved honesty, but I received betrayal typed in blue. Their text was a torch, illuminating the dark you created. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. You gave your silence to me and your words to another. The first text I read wasn't from you, but from your past. Their message was the crack in the love you left to break. You sent me away. Their text brought me back to reality. I loved a ghost until their words made me see your shadow. You were quiet. Their words screamed the truth I needed. Your ex texted me what I deserved to hear from you first. I was an outsider reading the final chapter written by your ex. You lost me in silence. They found me with painful truth. Their text was the last signpost on a road you abandoned. I wanted your voice. I got their confession instead. Your silence was louder than any message they sent me. They texted me what you buried deep inside your heart. The first truth I heard came from someone else's trembling hands. You chose silence. Their words chose to shatter my illusions. Their message healed a wound your silence refused to close. I found love's death note in a message I wasn't meant to see. You let another speak your truth before you could find your voice. Their confession was a curse I carried, but your silence was the poison. You texted me silence. They texted me goodbye. Your silence was a locked door. Someone else found the key and let me in. They told me your secrets because you lost your voice somewhere between us. I carried their message like a wound you never had the courage to reveal. Your absence spoke louder than their text, but their words cut deeper. You chose silence, and I learned your truth from the echoes of a stranger. The hardest truth is always the one whispered by someone else first. You left me in darkness. Their message was the cold light of truth. I waited for your honesty, but I found betrayal typed in blue. Their words arrived before yours, proof that love needs bravery to survive. You buried your truth, but it rose in a message meant for me. I wasn't ready for their confession, but I wasn't ready for your silence either. They texted me your past, and I realized our future had already died. You lost your voice, and they spoke the heartbreak you left unsaid. I found the truth hidden beneath their apology and your silence. Your ex's message was a wound I never wanted to open, but had to. I loved you blind until their words made me see your cracks. They sent me your confession because you were too scared to face me. Your silence was the loudest message between us, carried by someone else's phone. I read their text as if it was a letter you were too afraid to write. Their message was the final blow delivered when you refused to fight. You gave your truth to them and your silence to me. I was the last to hear, the last to know, and the first to hurt. Their words told the story you couldn't bear to speak aloud. You left me in the dark, and they lit the painful truth for me. The text wasn't just words, it was the end of the love you forgot. You sent silence, but their message screamed everything I deserved to hear. I found your betrayal in a text I wasn't meant to see first. Their confession was the wound your silence refused to heal. I wanted your honesty, but settled for a stranger's painful truth. They told me what you buried beneath your quiet, cold goodbye. You lost me before the first word they typed reached my screen. Your silence was a blade. Their message was the scar it left behind. I waited for your truth, but I found their painful revelation instead. Your ex texted me, love's death note, you never dared to send. They spoke the secrets you kept hidden deep inside your heart. I wasn't ready for their message, but I was never ready for your silence. Your absence screamed louder than their words ever could. They told me the truth your lips refused to admit. I read your story through a message meant to hurt me first. Their confession was a cold wind cutting through the warmth you left. You chose silence, and someone else chose to shatter my illusions. Their message was the mirror, reflecting what you never had the courage to face. I was the last to know, but their words made me the first to break. Your silence carried a weight their message could no longer hide. They texted me the ending you never wrote, but lived anyway. I found your truth through the tremble in their typed confession. Your ex texted me what you should have whispered when we were still alive. I loved you blind until their words opened my eyes to your absence. You lost your voice, and they became the echo I couldn't escape. Their message was a wound I never wanted, but I had to feel. Your silence was the first lie. Their message was the last truth. I carried their confession like a scar you never showed me.